Hello, everybody. This is Johnny S. coming to you with another game review. Uh, I'm trying some new things, so I am happy to announce that I've actually bought a couple of things. Uh, Not because of an upgrade, mostly because they're old things that I had. I had them for many years. They were destroyed. So one of the things that I got is some a headphone set. I got a new camera. So it's much better. The old camera that I was using was a Logitech. It must have been like over 10 years old. I don't even think it was a 720p resolution, so it was really tragic. Now this one is a good one, a relatively cheap one. And I did a couple of other upgrades. I got a new Razer mouse, a couple of other things, as you know, with everything else. I did some tests previously to start recording this just to see the lighting and everything. It seems as if the camera is picking up enough of the light without needing to open additional lights. I think it's a little bit brighter than the old camera. It's got a wider lens, so you'll be able to see more of me, let's say, quite wider lens than the other one. The position to me seemed a little bit strange, but okay, we'll go with that. We'll see how it goes. I thought maybe have it more leveled down or position. Looks like it's looks like I'm squatting down. Someone's watching me from the top. So uh, this is as far as an update with some of the updates that we've done to the setup. I hope it's better. I hope you enjoy it. And yeah, from a few tests that I've done, I didn't get to play around with it too much. It seems to be awesome. It seems to be very nice. The headphones also, the headset, the microphones and everything. And because usually I speak with low voice, I tested both of the microphones. I've got a feeling that the microphone from the camera, which is what I'm recording from now, is a little bit better when it comes to speaking low, the way that I'm speaking now. For some reason, it's able to pick up the sound a little bit better. Even though in my mind it was vice versa. I thought this microphone here, because it's going to be close to my mouth, I was going to record from here. And in any case, I'm wearing the headsets because I don't want people to wake up. So I'm always going to be wearing headsets no matter what. But I thought I'll record from here, and I'll have the picture from the camera. But for some reason, I think the camera microphone is very good. So I'm surprised. I did a couple of tests, and it seems as if that microphone is better. And it actually seems a little bit more sensitive, even though it's a closer distance here. That microphone is able to pick up a lot of ambient sounds. So that's a quick disclaimer. Now let's get to what this video is. So all this time I've been speaking, obviously you have noticed in the background Black Desert. It's an MMO game, RPG, MMORPG. Some people call them. Okay, I call them MMO. It's called Black Desert. It's produced by a company called Cacao Games. It's very cheap. It's around 10 euro, $10 around to actually purchase it. You can purchase it from the Steam market, or you can go directly to the Cacao's site and download, create an account and everything. It's a very cheap price. It's a one-off payment. It's not a pay to win. But then again, there's additional things that you can actually buy to make your life easier, let's say, in the game, if you like it. Just a heads up, I'm not going to limit myself as far as time goes. So in my channel at the moment, one of the the only big series that I had done was Path of Exile. That was a huge game. I think it was 5 or 6 part video, like 5 or 6 different 30-minute sort of 20-30 minutes of section, because it's a game with a lot of detail. Now this game has even more detail, so I don't know if it's going to be a 5-part, a 6-part, a 10-part, a 20-part, an infinity part, whatever. I'm not going to let myself. I'm not going to be restricted by time. I'm not going to be restricted by anything as far as how to actually consolidate all the format. I'm going to just record myself, and we're going to. I don't have any props, let's say, or any pointers in order to guide me through what I'm going to discuss. The concept which I will try to approach, and as things come, I'm going to go through it in more detail. Is I'm going to start from an introductory generics perspective. So I'm going to take you through the game from the title screen, from the character creation, from a few of the guys that I've done, into the actual game, the interface. We're not going to create like a new game, for example. I'm going to jump in with existing characters as far as going inside the game. So there's no point to take it from the beginning, let's say, of the process. It's going to be on my account, which I've been playing for many years, this game. And I'm going to give overview information. So the point and the concept here is that if somebody watches the first part, they will have an introduction of the game. If somebody is interested and they want to keep on going, they will have a more in-depth, a more in-depth, a more in-depth, and we'll go like that. And the final stage, I'm going to end up showcasing a couple of characters and seeing the action in the game. So since this is going to be for the people that, they might not be interested in MMOs and everything, I'm going to try to talk a little bit generic. Starting off, I will say, for me personally, this is the best MMORPG that I have played ever in my life, and that is currently out. But again, this is subjective, this is my personal opinion, and it is to my liking. What makes it the best game? So I'm going to talk a little bit before we actually go into the game. What makes it, as per my opinion, the best game? The best MMORPG at the moment. First of all, the graphics. The graphics are amazing. It's been out for many, many years, but the engine is getting revamped, and new things are added. So first thing is graphics, excellent graphics. Second is audio, excellent soundtrack, excellent audio, excellent acoustic sort of feeling to the game. Very epic music in the battle scenes and everything. Third component, which to me makes a great MMO, is the immersion. How many of the little things can you turn off? Some MMOs, they clutter the screen with the interfaces and overlays and everything, and in some cases it becomes too much. You know what I mean? Strangely enough, even though the company is a Korean originating company, they have not done this. At least they give you the option to play around with the interface, and you can minimalize it or make it so that creates immersion into your gameplay. Part of the immersion, I'm going to also attach another comment and say the game style. So the game style of this, which is good, ties in with the visual thing. The game style of the game is an action MMORPG. Action meaning that you do not have a targeted you lock onto your target, you press a couple of buttons, it's going to create an attack sequence, and so forth. It is an action MMO, so you're going to use WASD to move your character around. It's a combination of the keyboard and the mouse when you're playing. You're going to be able to see the enemies attack you and perform specific attacks. In some cases, there are markings on the floor, so if there's a boss in front of you or a big enemy and he's going to do a slam attack, it's going to show you on the ground a couple of milliseconds before the attack a red circle, and you know that that's where the red circle is, so you gotta dodge out of the way. If your enemy is in front of you and you're facing on your left and you're attacking, you're not going to hit it. So that's what an action MMORPG is, and it's much more realistic. I have played many MMOs in my life, but this is probably the first one that I have gotten so much into it, and I've dedicated a lot of time because this was many years ago. I had more free time to play. Lately, I have not. I haven't been playing this game at all. So as a disclaimer, for the last 3-4 months, I have not even touched this game, and that's because an MMORPG game requires more time for you to get into it. So as soon as you jump in, you're going to have your character. There's a lot of events happening. There's a lot of progression. Just the fact to get your character and go to a specific location and kill a couple of mobs, you're easily spending 1 hour without realizing. If you're going to go further and you're going to the dungeon, you're going to go to the boss, it's going to take more time because it's an MMO. You will party up with different members in your group and everything, and that again makes you how can I say it? It ties you into the gameplay because other people are depending on your gameplay as well. So if there's a dungeon and we start and there's 5 people, I'm one of them. We make a team, we start a dungeon, and at halfway through the dungeon, one guy jumps out, another guy jumps out because they played for too long. It creates the game. It's not good at take, let's say. So for that reason and that reason alone, I try to avoid. I don't play a lot of the MMORPGs. I play more ARPGs, which is much more quick. You spend 15 minutes to 1 hour, you jump in, jump out, back out. But a disclaimer: even though I have not played this game for around 3-4 months, I have never uninstalled it from my computer. So that is to show you that it's always going to be. It's always one of my favorite games, and I don't have a lot of room in my computer, so that's something that says something. It's a huge game. It's around 80 to 90 gigabytes installation, and I've got it on a separate SSD drive, which is always going to be there. When we jump in, we might also get like newcomer return rewards and things because it's been a long time since I've played. And usually, when you don't play a game for like a month or something, and you jump back in, you get additional rewards, like login rewards. So the company, the developers, are trying to help people which have been inactive to catch up. Let's say, so you get some rewards. We might. I think we're going to get some rewards when I look into it. So we discussed about the visual component, the audio component, the feeling of the game, the action, of everything. Another key important for the MMO, which ties into the immersion thing, but it's something very specific, is the size of the game. This game, to plainly put it, has a huge map. Size-wise, it's gigantic. They keep on adding new content. The map is that's another nice thing about this game, and other MMOs have done this before. There's some MMOs that you play, and because the maps are AI generated, let's say, they kind of look the same. So that's one of the bad negative things about some MMOs. This MMO is not like that. Every area that you go and that you experience, it looks different and it looks unique, which means that when you're playing it, without you really trying or going crazy and focusing on it, you're getting used to it. So at the beginning, when you play the game and one quest takes you from one place to another, you're going to have your auto tracking on the map. It's going to guide you. And it's going to show you the path. After a while, you realize, without even trying, that you're not using the auto path, because you kind of get so much used to the map that, because every single thing is different, that you have a topographical depiction in your mind of where you are and where you need to go. And when you play, let's say, the game for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, and then you start zooming out on the map, and you realize how many things in the map your mind already knows inside out. Each one, every cranny and every sort of path, you'll be surprised. And you will say, how the hell do I remember so much of the game? It's not because, it is because of the repetitiveness and everything, but it's because of the game design. It's very easy to make a huge map, AI generated, repetitive, and kind of like boring because you can go through the same thing. That's one thing. It's another thing to make a huge map that every single rock and tree is different, unique. They've done this. So when I say huge, size-wise, I mean huge but nicely done. So not just thing. That's another thing. Another important part about this MMO is, and I think it was the first game that did this. There's no loading screens. which is kind of huge if you think about it, because every single MMO, you're going to go to an instance, there are instances here, don't get me wrong, there are some very, very few sort of loading screens, but as far as the map goes, if you're going to go from one place to the other place of the map, which is going to take you, it might take you like 1 hour to go. Just I'm talking about going from one place to the other place. Okay, so it's a huge map. There will be no loading screens in between. You know what I mean? And that helps you on your immersion when you're playing an MMO. So MMO for the new guys, it stands for Massive Multiplayer Online. Massive being the key word, multiplayer, other people, online game. In order for you to get immersed in an MMO game, you have to feel as if you're not sort of loading, breaking. So, in some MMOs, you get a feeling of segmentation. This kind of breaks off your immersion. This game, they have made it fluently. There will be no loading from one area to the other. In the beginning, they had some technical difficulties, the company. I would like to mention that as well. So, mentioning the negative and the positive. Because of this sort of new engine and mechanic. And the problem was that, when you travel by foot, because when you begin, you go by foot and you're kind of slow and everything was okay. When you started getting a horse, when you got a mount, you started going faster and faster, because they were continuously loading the map as you were going. They had huge problems with popping graphics, because you were actually going too fast movement wise from what the engine and their servers could have loaded the map. So that's something that they have fixed a lot. There might be some cases where you might notice it, but it's so slight that it's almost not non-evident. So that's another thing that's really, really good about this game. The design of the game is awesome. It's beautiful. So when I say design, I mean the character look, the classes. There's a lot of gender-locked classes, which is more of an Asian, let's say, sort of a thing that you notice in a lot of Asian games, or Korean games, Japanese games, Chinese games. They have a lot of gender-locked classes. Usually European games do not do that, or American games. I don't know why they have that. It's not my preference, but because they have a vast amount of characters, and because they have male and female kind of variants. So just to give an example, there's a ninja character that you can play as a ninja, and he's male, so you cannot have a female ninja. But there's another class which she is called Kunoichi, and she is exactly like the ninja, but different looks, different aesthetics, different design, different clothes and costumes. The only common thing is that when she starts, she has the same weapons as your ninja. So if you had made a male ninja and then you want to make a Kunoichi character, you can actually take the ninja's sword and equip it to her. So it is kind of the same class, but she has different moves. You know what I mean? So if your basic attack in comparison of your ninja and your Kunoichi, she will do different animation. She will have a different attack. Jump and attack on your ninja will flip you and stab or something. She might flip and sweep, do something else. It's almost a different class, but similar concepts. That's another very nice thing to mention. The progression of the game. Let's discuss about this. It is very nice. It is very, very linear, and at no time does it become way too challenging to the point that you want to quit, or neither does it become too easy in the sense of what am I doing here? You're always faced with quite a few challenges. The level and the enemies and the difficulty, the way that the campaign and the storyline takes you through, which is a great storyline also to mention, is very, very well thought out in order for you to have a little bit of a challenge, but not too much of a challenge. The areas are separated based on level. So it's not like as you level up, the enemies get harder. If you go to a specific area where it's small level enemies, you're going to, like kill them very quickly. So you can go back to areas and, there's no specific path to follow with this game. You can actually level up really fast, and then you can go through and do all your quests, or you can do it vice versa. So you're free to do, whatever you like to do. Um, so yeah, I mean, this is pretty much an overview, and from here on, I think we're going to start going into more like, let's say, um, detailed components of the game. Um, Another thing to mention, which is going a little bit more on the detail, is the level. There's soft caps and hard caps, meaning that the way that the game has been made, there's no actual sort of limit when it comes to your level, your XP, and everything. But from a particular point and on, it becomes so difficult to level up that it's almost as if there's a cap there. At the moment, the most of the players on the servers, and they've been playing for many years, you will see them around 63 level. So in order for you to get an understanding, when you get to 50, you pretty much unlock most of your skills and your power. From 50 all the way to 60 is where you become, let's say, more of a master of your class. And from 60 and above, it's starting to going towards the end game level of your character. Some classes that have specific skills which unlock on, let's say, level 61 or 62. And from above 62, it's really difficult to do, to go. I think, if I'm not mistaken, the biggest character that I have is level 62, I think, even though I've been playing this game over, so many years. So that's another thing to mention about the game. Another interesting thing about the game, I'm just trying to think, because there's a lot of content and a lot of mechanics and integral components which make this game very immersive and very interesting. Another thing to mention about the game, which is very uniquely done, and I don't think I've seen many other games have done this, is the economy of the game. So most MMOs, they do have, let's say, an economy-based sort of system, meaning that they have you can trade with other players, you can buy things in the market. This is with in-game currency, so you do not need to actually pay real money. The real money that you might want to pay in this game is to get something like additional pets, additional cosmetic armors for yourself. There's no pay to win element. You're not going to be able to pay to get a sword and become like overpowered. You pay in-game money. So what that means is that you might be in an area and you might be grinding, as we say, which grinding means you're killing enemies and stuff. You're piling up your in-game currency, and you find an item. You might want to sell this item, and that will give you additional money. How does this in-game currency translate? It translates, currency equals time. So some people will dedicate themselves in the trading system to make money. Other players will dedicate themselves in purely grinding and killing monsters to get money. So there's many different components in the game that you can actually make in-game currency, and this also ties in to the roles. There's many roles. There are unofficial roles, so it's not like you have a title. There's unofficial roles that you might hear many people mention in Black Desert. For example, there is life skills, and these are like professions. Let's say, when you take part into one of these professions, you're going to level up and acquire expertise in that profession. Let's say. And these professions, we're going to get into more detail, but they range from crafting, they are ranging from trading, they are ranging from alchemy, from cooking. You make different foods which give different buffs to different people, processing, which means that you're processing different materials and you can supply and sell on the market things that you've crafted. So the economy is very integral component of the game, and it's very well thought out. Um, I I remember that one of the persons that designed the economy in Black Desert Online was an actual British economist. He's well known. I don't remember his name. That actually helped the company to produce this type of economy. Um, there's a lot of mechanics in order not to over fluctuate the market. There's a lot of limitations on when you're based on demand on the prices. So there's a very smart sort of component that makes the game, if a lot of things are selling from a specific item, the price will drop. If there's very few sort of items selling on the market, the price will rise. And there's limitations. So I cannot go in and because I have a friend, for example, and say, I'm going to put this sword which costs 1 million to 10 silver, and you can go and buy it. You know what I mean? There's limitations. So if a specific item, the average price is 1 million, the game is only going to allow you to put in 1,100,000, or it's going to allow you to put in 900. So because there's margins, and these margins are fluent based on the market, there's limitations. So no people cannot oversaturate the market, people cannot take advantage of the market. Basically people cannot break the market. You know what I mean? So it's very well thought out process. Uh, there's a lot of life skills activity on the game as well. So you can be involved in many different things, which are they can be online, meaning they're active, or they can be passive ways of making income. Um in Korea, one of the things to say is that they have, from what I know, companies try to make money based on the time people spend in a game, because in Korea there's many internet cafes. People spend a lot of time in the internet cafes, and they try to make content which requires you to be logged into the game. Let's say like that. In Europe, and we're situated in Europe. I'm situated in Europe, but in Europe and America, we don't have this. So just to give an example, one of the activities that you can do is fish. You can actually fish in the game. So you go to a specific location, you take your fishing rod out, you cast it in, and you can leave it. You can leave the game to actually fish. This will automatically fish. You know what I mean? So he's going to fish, he's going to take the fish, he's going to cast it again. You don't have to actively fish, you can leave it there. So you can go to bed at night, wake up in the morning, and he will have piled up so many fish. You take this fish, you can take it on the market straight away and sell it. You can take this fish and you can process it, which is what I mentioned previously. So you can take the fish and you can dry it out. So, and there's also animations. I mean, you actually see the guy take the fish and dry it in the sun. Another thing is that you have to actually go and stand in the sun to dry the fish. So if it is shadows, you're not going to be able to dry the fish. So very, very smart. And like I said, the economy, I call it economy. Other people call it the lifestyle of the game. Is very, very integral. You can actually process the food, so you can dry out the fish, and then you can sell that as components. Other people, so a cook that might need materials, a lot of materials, because he's making foods and baths and specific meals to sell on the market, he might require a lot of dried fish. So you, as a processor, are going to be selling this in the market. And there's advantages and disadvantages. A dried out fish, for example, cannot go bad, so you can keep in your inventory a dried out fish for 5-10 days. A fresh fish might sell for a little bit more, but you gotta manage it more actively, because if you leave the fish in your inventory, it's gonna go bad, and then you can't sell it. So there's smart elements as such in the game. I think this is most of the things, like an overview of how the game functions. We can actually go in and showcase a little bit. Just having a look to see whether we're going to make this a second part. I think we might make this. I think we might conclude this as a first part. And we'll go and we'll make a separate part as well, just actually separate in between. And I will try to put chapters in the videos as well as I'm going through the sections, so I can actually help people, navigate. So, okay, I think for the first part, for now, I think we're good. And I might make multiple parts, within a day. So, yeah, thank you very, very much, and talk soon.